Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to MISA's fourth webinar. Today, we are handling a topic that's close to most of our hearts, and that's bullying and teenage suicide. More than 2.3 learners are bullied yearly in South Africa. More than 67% of bully victims will not ask a teacher for help because they don't think it will change their situation. 90% of school bullying is carried out by learners. 160,000 high school learners bunk school daily to avoid being bullied. 1 in 10 learners drop out of school to avoid being bullied. 16% of learners admit that they are victims of cyberbullying. These are scary statistics. To talk to us about this today, we welcome Colleen Strauss, a social worker in Pretoria. Welcome, Colleen. It's nice to have you on our MISA webinar.
Thank you, Sonia, and thank you for the opportunity, MISA members, for having me talk with you about this, I think, controversial topic. And yes.
Colleen, where does bullying start?
Well, if we really go back to the basics, it will start with teasing. Teasing can be in a playful manner, and it can really just start with maybe picking on something non-specific or person and just laughing it off. And both of you might think, yeah, this is just funny, but then it escalates. It always takes a turn for the worst when one of us feel that you are picking me out on something specific. And then that is when bullying will actually start taking place. So teasing is positive when both of us can laugh about it and in a joking manner rather than aggressive manner. And the person that is being teased is part of the joke. He is also laughing about it and he sees it for what it is. But then at times, this can really turn bad.
If you say it can really turn bad, what's the different types of bullying that we have?
Well, the different types of bullying is the physical bullying. That is when the bullies will physically harm another person. It can be shoving, tripping, punching, or even hitting. It can be touching in a manner that is, I do not give you consent, which can be in a sexual manner. And that is the physical part of the bullying. Verbal bullying can be the taunting and then the teasing of someone. That is when you start calling them out about their skin condition or even their sexual orientation. And then the psychological bullying is the gossiping about it and excluding people to make them feel bad about themselves. And that is in most parts that we find in the schools is when they exclude another person from activities or parties or group discussions. So that psychological bullying is really rampant. And then the cyberbullying, the online bullying, is when bullies use the internet and social media and say things that they might not say to you in your face, in person. This is mean. This can be mean texts. Instagram, where you have the option of being anonymous and you can post things to break down another person, or even on Facebook when you comment mean comments on posts that the other person has made.
What are the effects of bullying?
Well, the person that's being bullied, they have feelings of being afraid, especially if it's a physical bullying. So the child or the person can be afraid to come to a place of work or school because of the physical bully. Stressed, depressed, anxious, and then they can also have thoughts of self-harming. And then you will see a deterioration in schoolwork, academics, and they just retract from normal activities that they used to enjoy.
But who is the bully? Can I be a bully?
Yes, you can be a bully. It's a choice that you make and it's the behavior that you choose to do. So what kind of people are normally the bullies that we see? That can be someone that's very aggressive in nature. But you must look at the history of being a bully, is that somewhere you were bullied. You experienced a form of bullying, be it at home with a father or a caregiver or someone that was supposed to be of a nurturing manner. And then where's your place where you're going to let all that anger out? It will be at a place where you are in control. So you will be the one that's aggressive and attacking. So and another type of bully we have is the quiet and sneaky one. That is the one that manipulates and try to turn situations in their favor by starting a damaging rumor or something like that. And then you have the friendly and fake type of bully. That is where you befriend someone and you get secrets and you know information about that person, and that you use that information against them when the friendship sours. So that's another form of bullying.
What character characteristics does a bully have?
Well, they like to be in control of others. So they want to control the situation. They want to control the narrative of what people think of the person that is being bullied. So they change that, so being in control. They are focused on themselves. So what do they get out of being the bully? They feel in control. They feel bigger, stronger person. They have poor social skills, actually. You would think that it would be the opposite, but they actually have poor social skills and have a hard time socializing and getting along with other people. And they lack empathy. They just don't care about the damage that they're inflicting on someone. And they're actually insecure and they bully just to make themselves feel better.
What can I do if I am being bullied?
Well, the first and the best option is always to find an adult that you trust. So let's say the bullying behavior is at home, then we will ask that children find a teacher or someone at the school that they trust and that they can disclose the bullying to assist them and help them. But normally you want them to find someone that they can trust in an authority position that they can go to and say that this is what's happening. Normally we want the best. I know this, we all tell our children this, is ignore the bully and walk away. But this will actually just make the bully feel more in control because I'm walking away and then they will react in a more aggressive manner for them to get the attention that they need. So the best actually is to never be alone, to be surrounded by other friends and be in a position or situation if you know the bully is going to be there, to make sure that you're close to the adult, close to the teacher, someone that can hear what is being said. And then just we would like to enforce some social skills on the child that is being bullied, to get some self-confidence, to walk tall and hold your head high. But being bullied, it really breaks down your self-confidence. So that comes with a little bit of skills and someone that you can trust and talk to. And the other one is, this is, our parents, we do that. We tell the children, just give him a punch if he says that again, which will really just escalate into something more physical. And then both children are in trouble. So in the school setup, you will have both children being taken into a disciplinary hearing. And then the first question they will ask you is, who did you tell? Who did you say you are being bullied? And then we go back to step one. Get someone you trust and speak to them. Never take the situation into your own hands.
If I am one of those children on a school ground that makes a video of two people fighting and I distribute that video, am I also the bully?
Yes, you are part of the problem because you are observing, and I'm not sure what the Criminal Act says about that, but you can also be charged, especially if we see people recording like gender-based violence activities, domestic violence, and you didn't step up, you didn't stop the fight or anything like that, you just recorded it, you are also charged with that. So yes, you are part of the problem if you record the situation.
So what if I am the bully?
So if you are the bully, you will bully because of feelings that you are experiencing, feelings of stress or anger or frustration, be it from home or from in the school environment. But yeah, and you might have also been bullied and you want to show your power by bullying someone now. So the best thing would be for you to find someone that you can talk to and to address the lack that you are feeling and the bullying that is giving you the power to address that, to find someone that can help you work through your own feelings for the behavior you are taking on.
What is the legal framework in which we handle bullying in South Africa?
So yeah, that's actually very interesting. We've got a few acts that protect the child and the person, the child that is being bullied. So how are we protected against bullying in this law of South Africa? we've got the South African Schools Act 84 of 1996. And there it says that all governing bodies must compile a code of conduct that will address bullying and have a strict disciplinary process to address it. The next act we have is the Children's Act, which emphasizes the protecting of children against abuse and neglect. And this law actually focuses on eradicating bullying in schools. It will give the South African child the right to bring a case of bullying to court, and you can also take the case to the South African Police Services if the act was in a criminal nature. The next act that we use is the Child Justice Act 75 of 2008, and this is for the offenders. This is the act that will guide in the offenders being now my Afrikaans words are taking over. So if we want to stop the Child Justice Act will be the act we refer to. Yes, the punishment and how we address it, and the how we are going to address the matter of being the bully. The next one is the Protection from Harassment Act 17 of 2011, and this just enforces the rights of the bully against being bullied.
So it seems that though we do apply a zero tolerance policy against bullying in our schools.
Well, it's really actually difficult because it's not that plain and simple, because all bullying cannot be seen. It's not all a punch and a blue eye. Sometimes it's the psychological, and how do you prove that? It's like with domestic violence, the emotional abuse. How do you prove what effect your bullying has on my emotional state? And that is where the challenge comes in always. So you can, I just want to go back to the act part. The Protection from Harassment Act makes, gives the bullied person the opportunity to have a protection order against the person who is bullying him. So that is another option that has been brought into the legislative framework for the child being bullied, is to have a protection order served on the bully that has to be enforced by all justice departments, SAPs and the courts and everyone. So that is another part that is brought into that. Sorry, I just wanted to mention that. And then the zero tolerance, it's very difficult to enforce that. First of all, you have to have a child that is willing to come and disclose their bully behavior that is being done. And that is a challenge in itself, because they are afraid and they do not want to be seen as being weak. And that is why I'm coming to tell you. And normally they don't want their parents to be involved. They don't want the school, the mothers and fathers to come to school to address the matter. So only when it's really at the point of serious escalation, when it's really bad, then we have a disclosure of being bullied. Whereas we could have addressed the matter a long time ago from the first incident. So it's not as easy as having a zero tolerance policy.
Colleen, if I listen to you, it seems as though there's a stigma to coming forward and reporting the bully. Is that correct? And do victims actually apply for protection orders, and can it be enforced in our schools?
Well, it is really very difficult for the protection order to be enforced, in the sense that you're in the same school ground, you're in the same class. So the school has to then put measures in place to accommodate the protection order, which puts more strain on the education system, because you only have so many teachers, you only have so many classrooms and so many classes for a specific grade. So that will put strain on the system. And then it will really only protect for the social media and that type of thing. But if a child has a protection order, the school is obligated to enforce it. So it doesn't really matter what strain it puts on it. If the child has a protection order, it must be applied. And then, sorry, Sonia, what was the other part of your question?
That was part of the question, is what's the legal liability of the school? Can the school enforce this protection order?
It must. If the court has issued it, the school doesn't have a choice other than to enforce it.
And does this lead to disciplinary measures against the bully?
It can. It really depends on what is brought to the school's attention, and if there was an incident reported to the school and it is in line with the code of conduct of the school. and their bully policy, because there was a big campaign that all schools should have a policy on bullying in place, and a bully register where incidences are reported and noted. So yes, the school will be able to take disciplinary actions if it is in their code of conduct, if it is of that.
So I can go to a school and I can ask the school to see their bully policy, and I can also ask the school to see the bully register, if I'm now summarizing this correctly.
Well, of course there will be. Let's say you have a child in that school. And you cannot just come in and view the register to protect information of other children, but you can go into the school and ask for the bully policy. And some schools have incorporated it with a code of conduct or disciplinary policy. So they will show you that you can see. But the bully register is confidential, as there's a lot of other children names and incidences in the register.
Is there a criminal element to bullying? Can you be charged for bullying someone?
Yes, you can. As soon as you go over into the criminal law, you will look at the physical assault of a person. Like if a child was punched in the face, that's assault. If the child was assaulted with a pipe, then it will be grievous bodily harm. If you were threatened with a knife, then that is also attempt. So I'm not an expert on the criminal law element, but as soon as you start going into physical actions of that nature, then it is a criminal case. The harassment on social media, that can also, remember there was that act that was brought in for the protection, sending pictures around, but that was specifically people in a relationship. But this is also part of, you cannot just send photos or stuff around of another person. That is also protected by the Criminal Act.
And are there age limitation to when you can act against a bully or not?
Not at all. The matter comes in when a child under 10 does not have criminal capacity, but that does not mean that no action will be taken against the child. It just means that the consequences of their actions will be dealt with in a matter that is age appropriate. So no police station or anybody can refuse you to open or inquiry or a case where children are involved. Doesn't matter the age. It really just, where they are under 10, it will normally be an inquiry, referred to court for further interventions. So it will go through to the Children's Justice Court or the Children's Court for further action. But as soon as the child is competent and they are above the age of 10 and, no, not above 10, and 13, then they have criminal capacity and you have to prove that criminal capacity, then they will be charged.
So what is the reality of bullying in South Africa?
Well, it is a significant challenge to schools and the children's safety in schools, as but a lot of times adults are unaware of the bullying, and that you only become aware of it when it has really reached a problem, a point of high escalation, where people will really it's a breaking point. So it's either someone will really get punched, or there's a threat on the life, or something like that, and then it's something that educators should not accept. Bullying is not just a normal part of growing up. We refer to teasing earlier on. So, and I think that is where we have to be very careful of saying, nee man, dit is net een keer. No, don't worry about it. It's just a once-off. Rather, take it seriously and address the matter immediately. It is against every child and young person's right to be not respected and in a safety place of safety where they are educated and a nurturing environment. So educators should take all bullying reports as serious and act on it.
What are the warning signs for parents to look out for?
Well, if your child has a sudden change in behavior, and this is not, I know a lot of people say, oh, they are just teenagers. Your child does not change from a red book to a blue book overnight. If you see your child is refusing to go to activities that they used to love, they are amazed, they don't want to come to school, they've taken up self-harming behavior like cutting, they've started using alcohol or drugs, those are all warning signs that something is not in place.
And how big is the risk for something like a suicide? We've seen an increase in teenage suicides over the last year. Is there a certain age where you should be more concerned, or can it be any age in your experience?
I would say that as soon as any child starts to mention self-harm or suicide, it doesn't matter the age, you act immediately. You do not wait for a 16-year-old. If your 7-year-old comes home and says, I do not want to live anymore, you take it serious. You immediately intervene. You start asking the questions. You get the professionals in, and you assist your child because something is not, he's feeling overwhelmed and feeling he cannot cope. And so, no, there's not an age limit. I would say as soon as you become aware that something is not in place, you address it.
Colleen, thank you so much for this very informative session. It's really of a benefit to any parent. Uh, Once again, I would just like to welcome Heidi Reed, that's MISA's Senior Vice President and also the Chairperson of MISA's Women Forum. Heidi, thank you for attending all our webinar sessions. I want to open the session now for questions, if there's any questions from our listeners. The question is, if a bully is under the age of 10 years, he or she does not have criminal capacity and cannot be held criminal liable. This does not mean that the bully will not face consequences for his or her actions.
That's true. Yes, that's what we say. They will face consequences for their actions. So they have to attend a program of sorts. If they're under 10, it will be addressed. They cannot not address it.
That programs, that's usually where you go for rehabilitation or some kind of formal program.
Yes, where they're taught skills to deal with matters. And yes, yeah, they will be forced to attend some form of counseling. I just wanted to say, can we please focus a bit more on the warning signs of a teenager at a suicide risk? As we're going into the matric exams now, I know it's not part of Child Protection Week and the bully focus, but I would like to just say that we should really take care of our teenagers. That is the grade 10s and up. They are under enormous amount of stress, especially with the academics. So if you see your teenager really not coping with the stress and stuff, don't make it off lightly. Rather get them with someone to talk about what they are experiencing. And the thing is, there's a lot of uncertainty, especially economic factors. What am I going to do after matric? That has a big influence on our matrics. So if you can, as parents, just focus on that and their mental health. What is happening? I don't think we really grasp the strain that they are under, especially our matrics.
Another question, Colleen, is what should I do if my teen is suicidal?
Oh no, you do not try to talk them out of it. You get professional help immediately. I always say that you can rather get someone to assist your child, even if they say it's not necessary. You do not take a chance. You do not think it can be talked away and you can support him. The fact is that something big is making him feel that he cannot cope and it has to be addressed. And normally as parents, we do not have the skills to do that and rather get a professional mental health person registered to assist your child in whatever situation he is facing. And remember, they will not really come tell you what is happening. They will not tell you that they are being blackmailed because of photos they sent to a girl on Instagram, and then it was actually a scam, and now they are blackmailing him for money. And the only way he sees out of it is by committing suicide. So rather get someone professional in to assist him immediately than trying to think you can talk him out of it.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Colleen, then I believe this is the end of our session. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time off your busy day to address us today. We really appreciate this.
Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for what MISA is doing for all the members out there and keeping them informed. Yes, thank you, Sonia.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for attending. We see you again tomorrow for our last session.